Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox. Welcome back to my channel. All right, you guys, let's talk about Jacob Blake, the storms in Louisiana and Texas, the RNC, the CDC, and the USPS. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the very first story is our unfortunate story about Jacob Blake. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos or at least have heard about it if you have chosen not to watch these videos any longer. They are distressing. They are you're distraught after you've watched them, and after you've seen this happen over and over and over again, it's hard to watch these things now. But yes, we've had another unfortunate shooting in Wisconsin, in Kenosha. Jacob Blake, who was originally from Evanston, Illinois, moved to Kenosha area with his family for a fresh start. He is a father who works there and takes care of his family, and evidently there were two women that were having a fight on a street in Kenosha. I don't know what the fight was about. I'm not sure if he knew the women. Where the video picks up, where I saw, was that he was trying to break up the fight with the girls. There was a neighbor who was recording from across the street. The police arrived. Somewhere along the line, they said that he had a knife. And when he walked back to his car, his back was to the police all the time. They were behind him. When he leans into his car, police officer Rustin Shesky, who's been working for the police department for 7 years, shot him in the back 7 times. It is amazing to me that Jacob did not die. The man was very much close range, right up on him, and shot him with absolutely no care for this man's life. When he was not posing a threat, his back was clearly to them. There was no weapon in the car or on him, but there were 3 children of his in the car, 3 years old, 5 years old, and 8 years old, according to their attorney, Benjamin Crump. You guys know Benjamin Crump is like the new Johnny Cochran. He is everywhere. I know he must be exhausted. I can't imagine having to defend case after case of the same senseless violence against Black people, Black men in particular. But anyway, they shot him 7 times. I expected the man to be dead, but he did not die. They rushed him to the hospital, and after surgery, they found that one of the bullets had severed his spine, and now he is paralyzed from the waist down. Ben Crump said that it will be a miracle if he ever walks again. And thank God that he was not killed, but you have to think about the quality of life that this man will now have. He won't be able to run with his children at the park. He won't be able to walk his daughter down the aisle when she gets married. He won't be able to be intimate with his partner. He will not be able to simply get up and go to the bathroom. I mean, just life is, I won't say life is ruined, because definitely people who are in this situation still have a life to live, but this did not have to happen. It's just, once again, shows you that the police do not care about Black people. There's absolutely no practice where they de-escalate. There is no use of non-lethal force. I mean, they just go straight for the kill. That man intended on killing him 7 times. You could possibly argue that in the heat of the moment, you pulled the trigger once. But when you trying to empty your gun out on somebody, I mean, you meant to do that. And we've seen countless other times where, in situations where white people have challenged the police, have fought the police, and he was not even fighting the police, so let's make that clear. But when we have seen other people, white people, challenge the police, very rarely does it turn out that they're shot and killed right there on the street. And people are tired of seeing this. So of course, after that happened, the streets erupted out there, and they have been protesting probably for the last 5 days now. I believe this happened on, was this Saturday or Sunday? I'm sorry, I don't have the days, but ever since this has happened, they've been protesting on the streets out there. It's a very, very sad story, because the family seems very much close-knit. His parents have spoken out. His sister has spoken out. Evidently, Jacob Blake comes from a family that is rooted in civil rights activism. His grandfather was an activist of sorts, in that he was a reverend of a church out there, I believe in Illinois, and he fought for fair housing rights for Black people. There was housing that was actually erected in his name for the work that he had done for the community. And like I said, he had a church there. I don't believe his grandfather is alive any longer, but the church is still standing. And like I said, the family is very much involved. They say that he is a family man. He cares about his family, even in the middle of him being shot and, you know, not being able to walk. All he can worry about now is being a burden on his family. He told his mom he was sorry. You guys, it's ridiculous. The officer who shot him has not been arrested, has not been charged with anything, and people are just over it. People are mad, and people are not knowing what to do, how to make any type of change around here, when it's just happening over and over and over. And video be damned, they don't give a fuck if you are watching. If you have, you know, people videotaping, I mean, there were people standing right there in front of those police officers, but, you know, we've seen that over and over again. Now, they're saying that the police did not have their body cameras on. That's an ongoing issue as well. It's just like, why the fuck are you, you know, you're on a domestic violence case. I guess maybe they didn't think that it was going to escalate like that, but I mean, the cameras should always be on. So that's, you know, that's a problem as well. This man's life essentially has been ruined. Okay, their family is praying that he will walk again, but medical science says that most likely he will not. And yesterday, you guys, I just was so disgusted about the story. It's just, you know, and it's even more upsetting when you have fathers and brothers and sons and uncles and friends, human beings that are out there who will fall under this immediate suspicion from the police. I mean, it's just so frustrating, you guys, so frustrating. So the civil unrest that's going on there in Kenosha, it is a small town. They weren't expecting, of course, things like this to happen. Their police department is not necessarily equipped to handle all of the attention and the people that have come into the town to protest. Along with those protesters come militia groups who are out there to, well, what they say is protect the police department. Okay, pretty much at any cost. They believe that they're protecting the lives and the property, and so that they come in and take matters into their own hands. There's a kid that's been considered a vigilante, Kyle Rittenhouse, 17 years old, who came into the city. He is also from Illinois, fancies himself as a militiaman. He was very much supportive of the police department. When you look at his Facebook page, I think that they said that they have taken it down, but on his Facebook page, it showed how much he was involved in the, you know, Blue Lives Matter, basically. So he went there. He had a rifle, because you have the right to carry an open, you know, it's an open carry state. So he had his rifle on him, and when he got mixed up with the protesters down there, he shot somebody in the stomach, and then went on to shoot and kill 2 more people. Okay, shot somebody in the head and somebody else. But anyway, shot and killed 2, ended up shooting 3 people total. When the people were trying to flag down the police officers to let them know that Rittenhouse, you know, had killed these people, the police just drove right past him. They were trying to tackle him, but if you see the video, he was shooting at them. So there was really no way for, I mean, you can't fight a bullet, right? So, but they were trying to get the police's attention. It got to the point where he actually turned himself in, like, I killed 2 people, I shot 2 people, you know, walked up to the police, and that's how he was taken in. But I mean, even that, you know, is a slap in the face. I realize that it's an open carry state, but if you got hundreds of people telling you that that person right there just shot and killed somebody, you would think that the police would at least stop to find out what exactly is going on there. Okay, so he's been arrested. Like I said, there are militia groups that are in Kenosha, actually, who had warned the police department that they were going to activate in the town and that they were going to be outnumbered, and they are asking actually to work with the police. They want to align themselves with the police. They would like for the police to deputize regular citizens so that they can, you know, protect the streets. They can go along the streets and make sure that everything is okay. And the sheriff there said absolutely not. And this is an exact reason why he won't, because of the situation with Rittenhouse taking matters into his hands and killing people. That's not necessarily protecting, just shooting at will. And there are many of these militia groups that are popping up all over the country. So that becomes even more concerning as, you know, protests go on and people are out there. They also now have to worry about organized and unorganized groups that get out there. Now, they're saying that this Rittenhouse kid is not related, or he's not associated with the militia group. What was the name of the group? I think I wrote it down. I didn't write it down, you guys, but there is an official group out there in Kenosha, and they're saying that he's not in their group. They want to work with the police. And nobody knows exactly what Kyle's association is. But yeah, you guys, a totally sad story. 2020 is just a fucking shit show. Every day, it gets so tiring to look at the news and just realize that, I mean, I've never seen so much chaos around in my life. This will definitely be one for the history books. But anyway, getting back to Jacob Blake, our prayers go up for him and his family. My heart just breaks for everybody that has to go through these things. I just, you know, it makes me worry about my kids who are away from me. You know, I realize that my kids are growing up and they need to have their space like everybody else. But man, I have never been so worried and anxious in all of my days. I'm sure we'll hear more about this story. There's so many cases that are up in the air, and as more problems, you know, more killings arise, the older ones start to fade out, because I mean, we got Ahmaud Arbery and of course Breonna Taylor, who still nothing has happened there. People going to jail. We done seen Portia and Yandy and you know, Tamika and all of them getting arrested over and over and over again. Nothing is happening there. And I'm starting to feel like, even though the mom said she spoke with some people and was very sure that, you know, they would be brought to justice, I've gotten to the point where I don't think it will ever happen there. George Floyd, you know, now we have this, and there's been others. The kid that played the violins for the Cats, what was his name, over in Denver or in Colorado? I mean, that happened some years ago, but that story just came to the forefront recently. It's just, and there's more, and plenty other stories that we don't hear about, that don't make the national headlines. It is so depressing, and it's so anxiety inducing, and just so stressful, and just so makes you feel so hopeless. Anyway, you guys, we're gonna move on from that story because it's just too depressing. Prayers up, like I said, for Jacob and his family. All right, you guys, let's talk about these storms in Louisiana and Texas. So Hurricane Laura is on its way. Actually, I believe it's already hit there. This actually happens to be the 15-year anniversary. I believe on Saturday will actually be the 15-year anniversary of Katrina hitting in New Orleans and creating all that devastation there. Now we have Hurricane Laura, who some have described, like the National Hurricane Society has said, that it is an unsurvivable hurricane and that people needed to evacuate. these hurricanes are getting worse and worse, and that is because of climate change. Although we don't have more hurricanes, the intensity of the hurricanes are getting stronger because as the earth gets hotter, the water gets warmer, and the water that's warm is able to stay in the atmosphere longer in the warm air. They can carry this water, and it creates huge downpour rains and floods, and that is why we are having these hurricanes that are just worse and worse and worse. People were saying it's these 100-year floods and these 100-year, storms, and those 100 years probably will start to come, dwindle down to 50 years and 25 years. It's going to happen more and more because our earth is getting hotter and hotter. They say since the 90s, the category 4 and 5 storms, hurricanes and such have doubled over the Atlantic. And that's just been over a course of 20, 30 years. Just imagine how in 20, 30 more years, how, the intensity of these storms. I know that I have a lot of rock stars that are in Louisiana, that are in Texas, and hopefully you guys are being safe and evacuating. I think I was watching a sheriff or a mayor or somebody on one of the blogs yesterday, and he was like, listen, if you want to sit it out and stay in your house, then that's perfectly fine with him, but just know that he's not sending his people in to, rescue you, okay? That they're giving the warning that everybody needs to get out. And once the storm hits, you on your own. As a matter of fact, he said it's just going to be you and God. Okay. And, I'm assuming that they were helping the elderly and all of the people who might need the help to get out of the community. But once the storm got there, then they were going to pull out as well. Those of you guys who experienced Katrina, I know it's many of you out there, including Brittany, who had to end up moving out of the state to, try to get their lives back together, and ended up going back down there. Like, how do you guys feel when storms like these are heading back your way? I would be extremely afraid. And I don't think I would stick around. At any rate, I'm hoping that you guys are all being safe out there, because they are making it seem like this hurricane is going to be a doozy. I have family in Louisiana. Evidently, it's closer to the border of Texas. So far my family is safe there, but yeah, you guys, everybody just be careful out there. Hold your heads up out there, you guys. We're gonna get through this hurricane and tornado season like we always do. And prayers up for all my rock stars out there with friends, family, or who might be in the thick of it themselves. All right, you guys, the RNC. So I refuse to watch the RNC. I'm just not doing it. I'm not making myself that frustrated. I've seen, I actually saw the beginning of the black guy from Kentucky. Was that the Attorney General? I saw the beginning of his speech. I saw some of Donald Trump Jr.'s speech, and that's it. I haven't seen anything else. Not going to watch any of it. I will turn to CNN and watch Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo clown, for 3 hours. I can't believe they gave them all that time to just sit there and talk about it. It's actually quite entertaining, you guys. But yeah, I'm just not doing it, okay? I know that with everything that's going on in the United States right now, that they are using this to make Americans fearful and say that under Biden and Harris, the country will not be safe. Yet and still, you want to know what irony is? Irony is when you try to blame current problems that's happening in the YSAP administration, okay, on what will happen in the future, okay? We are in the middle of a pandemic. People ain't got no damn jobs. There is civil unrest everywhere. Police are wilding out. It's clear that Black lives don't matter. Folks ain't got no money. Businesses are closing up. All of this is going on while YSAP is in office. Yet and still, they're trying to blame it on what would happen in next year, in the next 4 years, if Donald Trump is not elected as YSAP again. I don't know how these people get up there and say the things that they say with a straight face. I do not understand. This is happening now. It's on you. How do you push the blame over? I guess Mike Pence spoke yesterday, and that's what he was going on, just talking about the, you know, the utter chaos that's going on in the country right now and how it's just going to be really bad if Biden. It's really bad now. It's really bad now. I wish people would understand that. Child, it's just, I just was like, yeah. So a few of you guys actually reached out to me. It was like, Roxanne, are you gonna, you know, talk about the RNC? I was like, I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it, but from a very you know, I didn't watch it, so I can't really give you my opinion on anything other than it's bullshit just from what I saw. I know the Republicans ought to be mad the way that YSAP has really usurped their political party, because he's not even really a Republican. He is something else, child. He's just something else. Now, in order to try to keep the party in power, they have to go along with a lot of the shit. It's bullshit, you guys, because many of them are starting to speak out, but there's still a lot who are going to hold on to that train, because if he does win, you know, God, I hope he doesn't. But their feeling is if he does win, that they'll be on the right side of this whole thing. Yeah, it's just so ironic when I was reading that. I was just like, how you blaming the shit that's happening on your fucking watch on somebody else that ain't even in office yet? He is a spectacular fool, you guys. A fuck nigga if we ever seen one. Oh, I cannot. Tonight is the last night of the RNC. And of course, YSAP will be speaking there. It's not like we don't see Donald Trump speaking all the time. So, I mean, I don't know how this will be any different. But y'all been watching the RNC? If you have, tell me the highlights. I don't need the blow by blow, but you can tell me, you know, even if you did enjoy it. All right? I want to make everybody welcome to say those things in the comments. So y'all just talk about it in the comments below. Let's talk about the Rona. Okay, we didn't do a Rona check-in, but we'll do it real quick now. I'm good. My family is good. Hopefully you guys are all well, and if you aren't now, that you will be in the future. They say that the numbers are going down, trending down very slowly, but going down nevertheless. I don't know how much we can trust those numbers now, considering that the YSAP administration has put the pressure on CDC to now say that you don't need to test unless you have symptoms. If you don't have symptoms, then you don't need to test. You know how right at the beginning of the summer, I should say, maybe June, yeah, they were saying that everybody needed to be tested. Well, when everybody gets tested, then all of the people that have it are detected, okay, even if they are asymptomatic. So that shoots the numbers up, obviously, okay? YSAP has always been against these numbers going up. He says that when you test a lot of people, you create a lot of cases. Okay, no, you don't create cases because the case is already there. You are now made aware of the case, and that is why the number goes up. We don't create viruses, all right? The virus is in the person, and the numbers go up when we find out that that person has it. So YSAP does not like to have those numbers go up because it makes them look bad. It makes them look like the virus, is out of control, which it is. We see these kids that are back in school, that the schools have to keep closing down, and, 2 weeks virtual this, and, all of the things that's going on at the schools. That'll let you know it is not under control. YSAP, because he has to run on this platform of saying that, they've got it all together, you guys, the numbers are going down. Well, no, it's more like we gonna stay ignorant to what's out there. So if you don't feel bad, then don't worry yourself about it. But we can't forget about people that are asymptomatic can still spread the disease, the virus. I keep wanting to say disease. They spread the virus. You can unknowingly be around people and make other people sick. But yeah, they're saying don't worry about it. Even if you've been in close proximity with somebody who actually was infected. If you don't feel no symptoms, don't worry about it. And that's scary. It's scary that the YSAP administration is even able to have control over the CDC like that. where they just kind of have to do what their boss tells them to do. You know, there's still scientists and there's still many people in the medical profession who come out and say, no, that's not right. No, don't listen to that, you know, whatever. But your government puts out information like that. People start to follow those rules, okay? And it just creates a worse situation. So that is what's going on there. The CDC kind of changes up every couple of weeks too. And it almost got to the point where you don't even know if you got to believe the shit that the CDC is saying. And when did we ever go against what the CDC says? I mean, I'm sure we're going to still pretty much listen to what the CDC, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like now all of a sudden I got to be suspicious of the fucking CDC. This one will be quick because really it's a follow-up. So I told you guys last week about the problems that USPS was having and how they were going to have DeJoy go down there and talk to the oversight committee. Well, did you guys watch any of it? I didn't watch it in whole. I know that they did make it available. I saw many parts of it. And what I was able to conclude was that DeJoy was strictly put into that position because of the money that he donated to Donald Trump. He did not have experience working in the post office. Like I said, he has a business, I believe, that had a contract that was with the USPS for years and years and years. But as far as him knowing day-to-day operational things in the post office, he's clueless of. Now, that does happen in businesses, okay? There's many times where they just bring in a CEO or or a CFO or a COO who don't know shit about nothing, but they give them the big money, and then that person then delegates to their staff to do what, they want them to do. And sometimes that works. In this case, it's not working, okay? And put the man in there. He then came in with all these wide sweeping changes, and he has created in 3 months, again, chaos at the USPS. Now, I've been telling you guys about my mail problems over here. The other day, let me tell you, the mailman came down my street 3 fucking times. It was a damn mess. They came, I was expecting a package. They came at about 2 o'clock. The woman drove right by my mailbox, didn't even stop, okay? I was so pissed because I was expecting a package that day. I called USPS, was on hold for 2 fucking hours. 2. When I talked to the person, they said, oh, I don't know why it was supposed to have been delivered on the 17th. It was like the 22nd. And I said, yes, I know. They said, okay, well, we'll make sure that it's delivered on the following Monday. Okay. I said, okay. Later on that same day, I saw the mail person come flying down my street. They came back up the street and I actually saw them stop at my mailbox. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then when I didn't never go out there, it was raining. So I actually looked on my phone to see if my package had shown that it had delivered, and it still said out for delivery. So I was like, okay, my package still ain't fucking out there. Okay, so I hadn't thought nothing else about it. Ended up going out there later, saw my package was actually in there. This shit still say on the tracking out for delivery. So I just take my package in. I'm happy. Fine. Do you know about 8:30, I saw that damn mail person coming back down my street again. I was like, they running these damn U.S. postal people to death. Why this woman is up and down my street 3 times in one day, and it's like 8:30 and she's still going up and down the street? I mean, I can't imagine the stress that these people must be working under. Even though, the mailman is, I'm sure there's way more people in management levels and executive levels before you get up to DeJoy. I mean, nothing happen if the mailman ain't delivering the mail, right? Okay, so you would want the person that's up at the top to know how all of these things happen when it's something as important as delivering the mail. I told you guys last week, I ain't never thought about how shit happens at the post office. I just know that it was being done, okay? I'm assuming that they got mail sorters and they make sure that this, and I'm sure it's an intricate, it's a lot of logistics that go along with it and everything, but I never realized how much I should respect these people. I mean, I'm never mean to the mail people, but I just take it for granted that I'm going to get my mail. Now we realize that it's a fucking privilege. Okay? A government-run service, like Pelosi said, it's a service. And you would expect that they would be able to get a handle on this post office situation. So they didn't put DeJoy in there, who thinks that he gonna come in there and make all these changes, which need to be done. People will say that we even work at the post office. Things do need to be done. However, the way you going about it, at the time where it's going to be an election year and you know that there is going to be an influx of mail because people are going to be voting by mail because of the pandemic. Okay, now all of a sudden you want to make all these changes. I'm sorry, you guys, my daughter called and interrupted the video, so I'm just picking up where what was going on. I don't really have much more to say other than the fact that DeJoy is there trying to make these changes. Probably not the best person for the job. He's already said that he had no plans of putting those sorting machines back in there. I guess they are going to approve overtime and all that. I need my post office workers to just chime in. When I had called the number, customer service, the lady even was complaining on the phone. Okay, the operator, she was complaining and saying how the man didn't know what he was doing, and you know, but it looked like they were going to get back to normal. So I'm not quite sure exactly what the normal is, if it's going to be new normal, old normal, what. Okay, but yeah, bottom line is DeJoy, they called him on the fact that he don't really know what the hell he's doing. He's trying to run this thing as a business, and that obviously is not going to work for this particular service. So that's it on that, y'all. I think that's all I'm going to talk about in Let's Talk About It. The rest of the stuff that I have to talk about we'll put into top of the blogs. It's more entertainment related. Okay, but yeah, you guys comment on that. Like I said, my post office workers, y'all go on and tell me what's what. Do you guys have faith that DeJoy is going to hold to his word and bring things back to a higher operational level, or is it bullshit? Y'all let us know. All right, you guys, so that's that on that. Okay, make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Rocks. The channel is for It's Rocks, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.